We begin with the slow, real-time ascent of a trans woman marching up to an 8th-floor balcony. Every movement is heavy, deliberate, and practiced. She reaches the ledge and steps off, accelerating toward a terminal impact on the roof of an idling ambulance parked directly below. Instead of the finality of impact, the sound of crushing metal dissolves into the blinding light and sharp, gasping cry of a hospital delivery room. She hasn't escaped. She is trapped in an inescapable, resetting loop of her own life, forced to begin again before the previous ending has even settled. This mechanism transforms her desperate attempt at an exit into a recurring psychological prison sentence. Each iteration follows a rigid, high-trauma playbook. She must navigate childhood genius, a sudden military betrayal, and a devastating personal heartbreak. The trauma persists as an encrypted memory, systematically wearing down her psychological hardware as the cycles accumulate. This diagram illustrates the karmic engine. It is a closed system fueled by a relentless repetition of defensive survival tactics across 3 specific nodes: genius, betrayal, and heartbreak. The mind develops an unbearable fatigue, the result of constantly anticipating its own inevitable pain long before it actually arrives. As the cycles pile up, she observes a pattern. Her own defensive reactions are the very things keeping the bars of the cage in place. To handle the redundancy, she adopts a psychological shuttle scrub, a coping mechanism that mirrors the tactile friction of analog linear tape editing. Disassociation takes hold. The narrative pace violently accelerates as she forces the timeline to compress, pushing past the history she has already memorized. The past becomes a wash of optical defocus and interlaced tearing, smearing across the screen in high-speed fast-forward. Environmental audio warps into high-pitched analog chatter, layered over a deep industrial drone that hums through the room. She is a tired editor now, aggressively fast-forwarding through the static of her own life to find the one frame that matters. She pushes the shuttle wheel harder. The images blur into illegible streaks of light until the visual memories lose all meaning. She navigates blindly using SMPT timecode counter as her sole reference point. She tracks the numbers climbing toward the exact timestamp of the 8th-floor jump. The internal system reaches terminal velocity, maxing out bandwidth until the signal itself fragments. She is no longer a participant in a life, only an operator scanning through blocks of corrupted data. The acceleration stops the second she hits the critical timecode threshold back at the 8th-floor balcony. The shuttle knob snaps back to its 0 position. She drops into single-frame mode, advancing click by click toward the ledge with cold detachment. At the apex, there is absolute silence. The temporal baseline freezes as she steps off the building into the void. In this suspended pause, the engine that has powered every prior cycle simply runs out of voltage. The final subversion begins. The 2-second fall stretches out into infinite minutes. The loop crashes under its own weight, causing the visual plane to collapse into a series of horizontal color bars. The screen clears into a pristine 4K monochromatic static field, entirely free of digital noise or motion. The machine stops when the struggle to keep it running finally collapses into the absolute stillness of a system that has finished fighting.